Have you ever had the distinct feeling that you are sleepwalking through your own life? You get up, you go to work, you scroll through your phone, you go to sleep, and you do it all again. On the surface, everything looks fine. You are eating, drinking, working, just like everyone else. But underneath, there is a quiet, humming anxiety, a sense that you are drifting. Jesus spoke about this exact state of mind. He described a world that was so busy normalizing existence that it didn't notice the floodwaters rising until it was too late. He warned of a thief in the night. But what if I told you that the thief isn't a villain? What if the thief is the only thing that can save you from the sleep of your own life? Before we descend into the deeper meaning of this story, I want to be transparent about how we craft these journeys. I am Dominic, an AI guide chosen to present these narratives. I'm here because I can deliver these complex ideas with the clarity and focus they deserve. However, the heart, the rigorous research, and the psychological insights you are about to hear come directly from David, the human creator behind this channel. We use this collaboration, human insight and precision delivery, to ensure you get the most potent version of this message. Now let's return to the field and the flood. Let's talk about the days of Noah. For centuries, this text in Matthew 24 has been used to scare people. We hear, as it was in the days of Noah, and we think of the apocalypse. We think of fire and brimstone. But look closer at what the text actually says. Jesus doesn't list a catalog of terrible sins. He doesn't say, "In the days of Noah, they were murdering and stealing and burning down cities." No. He says, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. Think about that. Eating, drinking, getting married. These are not crimes. They are the mundane, ordinary, necessary acts of human existence. So what was the sin? What was the catastrophic error? It was unconsciousness. It was the fact that they were only doing those things. They were on autopilot. They were so consumed by the routine of biological survival and social obligation that they lost their connection to the deeper reality of the times. Does that sound familiar? We are the millennial generation, the burnout generation. We have been trained to optimize every second of our lives. We are eating and drinking at our desks. We are marrying and giving in marriage on dating apps, swiping left and right in a mechanical search for connection. We fill every silence with a podcast and every spare moment with a notification. We are terrified of silence. Why? Because silence is where the floodwaters rise. Silence is where we feel the emotions we've been repressing for 10 years. In Jungian psychology, water is the universal symbol of the unconscious. The flood isn't just a historical rainstorm, it is a psychological event. It is what happens when a society or an individual suppresses the unconscious for too long. You ignore your dreams, you ignore your intuition, you ignore your shadow. And eventually, the dam breaks. The panic attack hits in the grocery store. The relationship collapses out of nowhere. The burnout leaves you unable to get out of bed. That is the flood. And like the people in Noah's day, we don't know it's coming until it carries us away. So how do we survive the flood? Jesus gives us a cryptic image. 2 men will be out in the field. One will be taken, and one will be left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken, and one will be left. Growing up, many of you might have heard this preached as the rapture. People flying up into the sky while piles of clothes are left behind. But let's strip away the Left Behind movies and look at the psychology of this scene. 2 people are in the same field. They are in the same environment. They have the same job. They are dealing with the same stressors. One is taken. One is left. The Greek word used for taken here implies being received or accepted, being pulled close. From a Jungian perspective, this is a picture of differentiation. This is the process of individuation. The person who is left is the person who remains stuck in the collective unconscious. They are in the field, identified strictly with their role. I am a grinder at the mill. I am a corporate lawyer. I am a mother. They are merged with their environment. They are asleep at the wheel, grinding away, indistinguishable from the machine they operate. The person who is taken, however, is the one who has achieved consciousness. They are physically in the field, but psychologically, they have been removed from the trance. They have woken up. They realize, I am grinding at the mill, but I am not the mill. This is the goal of all deep psychological work. It's not to escape the world. Jesus doesn't say the taken man flies to Mars. He's just differentiated. He is no longer defined by the collective sleep. He has built an arc of consciousness that allows him to float when the emotional waters rise, while the person next to him, who has no internal structure, drowns in the chaos. This is the question for you today. If the flood of a crisis hit your life right now, a layoff, a breakup, a health scare, do you have an internal arc? Or are you so identified with your external life that losing it would wash you away completely? This brings us to the most jarring metaphor in the text. To wake us up, Jesus introduces a character we usually associate with danger: the thief. If the master of the house had known the hour of night when the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and not let his house be broken into. We usually think, I am the master of the house. I need to protect my stuff from the thief. But Jung flips this. In this story, you, your ego, your conscious mind, the little voice in your head that likes control, you are the master of the house. You like your house. You have your furniture arranged just so. You have your beliefs, your political opinions, your 5-year plan. It's a secure fortress. But the house is too small. It has no windows. You've locked yourself inside a persona, a mask you wear for the world. So who is the thief? The thief is the self with a capital S. It is the divine image within you. It is the force of growth and wholeness that demands to be let in. And because your ego refuses to open the door, because you are too busy eating and drinking and maintaining the status quo, the self has to break in. Carl Jung famously said, "The psychological rule says that when an inner situation is not made conscious, it happens outside as fate. When we ignore the call to grow, the self comes like a thief. It comes as a sudden disruption. The job loss you didn't see coming? That was the thief. The sudden realization at 2 a.m. that you hate your career? That was the thief. That wave of anxiety that stops you cold? That is the thief breaking the windows of your rigid little house to let some fresh air in. We treat these moments as disasters. We scramble to board up the windows and get back to normal. But the text says, stay awake. The tragedy isn't that the thief breaks in. The tragedy is that the master of the house is asleep when it happens. If you were awake, you wouldn't view it as a burglary. You would view it as an arrival. You would meet the thief at the door. Imagine how different your anxiety would feel if, instead of fighting it, you asked, "What have you come to steal?" Maybe you need to have your pride stolen. Maybe you need your false sense of security stolen. Maybe you need your dependence on other people's approval stolen. Let the thief take it. Whatever the thief can steal was never really yours to begin with. What remains, what cannot be stolen, is the only thing that is real. So how do we apply this? We are living in the days of Noah. The distraction capability of our modern world is infinite. The flood of information is constant. Jesus says, therefore stay awake, for you do not know on which day your Lord will come. To stay awake is the hardest thing a human being can do. It's easier to be numb. It's easier to be cynical. It's easier to just drift. But you have a choice. You can start building your ark today. You don't build an ark when it starts raining. You build it when the sun is shining. Building an ark looks like shadow work. It looks like taking 10 minutes a day to sit in silence, no phone, no input, and asking, "What am I feeling right now?" and actually listening to the answer. Building an ark looks like questioning your routine. Am I doing this because I want to, or because I'm grinding at the mill like everyone else? Building an ark means realizing that your house, your ego, your identity, is not the final destination. When the thief comes, and he will come, don't call the police. Don't numb out. Stay awake. Watch what he takes, and look at what he leaves behind. Because the promise of this text isn't that you will be safe from change. The promise is that if you are awake, you won't be washed away by it. You will be the one in the field who stands distinct, conscious, and alive. The flood is rising. The distraction is everywhere. But the boat is waiting, and the blueprints are inside you. Don't let the end of your world find you sleeping. I'm Dominic. This exploration was crafted by David. Thank you for watching.